testament to the caliber of people that we have, the church community that we have as members of 10 years. That's good. That's good. Brother, to service. Because what who are all blessed.
I had to hear it, man. Sing, children.
Jesus said, "Here I stand. Won't you please let me in?" And you said, "I will tomorrow."
Jesus said, I am He who supplies all your needs. And you said, I know, but tomorrow
Tomorrow I'll give my life. Tomorrow I thought about today, but it's so much easier to say tomorrow. Who promised you tomorrow? Better choose the Lord today, for tomorrow very well might be too late.
Jesus said, here I stand. Won't you please take my hand? And you said, I will tomorrow.
Jesus said, I am He who supplies all your needs. And you said, I know,
Hello. Hi, I'm Carmen de Gorville. Brother Mitchell, can you kindly come up and take a seat, please? Can we get the photos of Brother Mitchell and his wife on the screen? This is just a short synopsis of Brother Dean and Clarice Mitchell's time here at West. When Dean and Clarice Mitchell came to the U.S. almost 50 years ago, they immediately joined West Church at 55th and Haverford. They both jumped right into service, Brother Mitchell as an elder, assistant Sabbath school superintendent, and later as assistant in the treasurer's office. Sister Mitchell, for her part, served as a deaconess. In addition to those offices, they also helped out in what was then called the Sabbath School Extension. We are forever grateful to both of them for their many years of self-sacrifice service to our congregation.
And we have asked Courtney Mitchell, his son, to just share a few words of what he remembers about his dad in terms of his service to the church.
Good afternoon, West Church. It is my privilege, it is my honor to acknowledge my parents, Dean and Clarice Mitchell. Many call her Clarice, but the name is Clarice. Dean and Clarice Mitchell. Dad was the first Adventist of the family, and so when he came here in January of 1969, it only took him 1 month to find West Church. The entire family would become Brother Don in his church. So if you're an aunt,
when the campaign, when the camp meeting, to come and bring our token and say a word of.
Are Loris and Joyce French. Can you please come up, please? Sister French? Brother French? Loris and Joyce French have called the land of the free and the brave home for 37 years. Since both of them were members of the faith back in Jamaica, they settled in at West in no time. In fact, Sister French served as head deaconess, and Brother French gave uplifting talks when he traveled with Operation Fireside, a group of musicians who visited senior citizens' homes. He also served as Sabbath School Extension leader. Throughout the years, they remained supportive of their church. In fact, Sister French remembers that back in the day, Pastor Braxton asked the ladies to forego buying stockings to help offset the cost of the building fund. And that the church also owned a small bus.
He's going to just say a few short words of what he has seen in his father as he served the church.
Sing, Richard, sing.
Good evening, everyone. I wrote a long speech, but I actually left it in the car, and I know they won't give me a chance to go back out and come and get it. Psych. All right. But on a more serious note, right now, I didn't plan a speech. I didn't plan anything. I don't even know what I'm supposed to say, but there's always something to say, because as I look to the left and I look to the right, there's a wealth of knowledge in this building. There is this is my life that I'm actually looking at. And I have this young man to thank for that. And I have that young lady to thank for that. Moving forward, being here, and I have this young man to thank for that. But speaking of some things that I remember the most and some things that will always stick with me, and what solidifies my faith and what solidifies what I know I should do and should is this young man. And even if this ceremony, which I think is amazing, I think that from each and every one that is here, the founders and the long time, I'm not going to say seniors, the most experienced people, the biggest lesson I've ever learned from them is the power of momentum. What I'm trying to say is that I remember this church when it first started, when I came here. I remember 55th and Haverford, which was a house. And because of when Sister Carmen just said it, it was, you know, everybody laughed, and it's funny. I remember the sacrifices that was made to build this building. I remember, like she said, they forego buying stockings just to add an extra $5. I can remember as a kid, where's Sean? I remember Sean. We were out there a few minutes ago, and I remember Sean and I and all of us, we were out here playing. While this church was being built, we were playing in the dirt. Sean. So what I'm trying to say is, they taught, the biggest lesson I've learned is about sacrifice and momentum. And I pray every day, moving forward, and even as we're moving into nominating season, so forth, so on. You know that politics thing they go about. What I'm saying is momentum. But ultimately, pray without ceasing. I thank God for this man every day. I thank God for my mom, and I thank God for West Church and each and every one of you. God bless you.
Yeah, Sister French, thank you for your service as deaconess over the years, and you've been wearing that white uniform for a long, long time. Both of you are personal friends of mine, and really appreciate it. Brother French is my friend, and Brother French, you good? Okay, all right. I remember that there were months that we would not see Brother French in church. And the reason for that is that he would pop in, he would grab a few people, 3 to 5 individuals, and then he would leave, and you know where he went? he went to visit the sick and shut in. He was passionate. He was consistent. This was his job and his duty. And for months we would not see Brother French, and you'd wonder, where is he? What is he doing? No, he's visiting the sick and shut in. I can tell you just from visiting some of these sick and shut in, some were in the nursing home, some were in the hospitals, some were at home, and they weren't in the very best of circumstances, but he did that anyway. And so, you know, this is a man of deep commitment to his service, to his ministry, and to his people. And I'm sure that so many over the years have been blessed by what you have done. Brother French, you want to?
Say something.
Huh?
Say something.
Yeah. What made you so consistent in visiting the sick and shut in? Why did you do it every single Sabbath?
The need was there.
All right. Well, we appreciate your service. We appreciate your love. We appreciate your commitment. And Pastor will now hand a small token of our appreciation for Brother and Sister French.
Brother and Sister French, I have been out shopping for days for these things, and this is expressly for you. Brother French, I want to thank you for the laughter that you shared with me and the couple of times that we've got a chance to be together. And I'll keep private what those jokes were. I'll hand this to your wife. Don't laugh, man. It was all in the Lord. But we had a good time just laughing and joking together. Recipients.
Real quick, Sister French.
And I would go, and I said, "How are you doing? I'm just coming in, I'm hungry. You have anything there?" And there was that yabba with that steamed fish and a piece of cassava or a piece of yam. And that is where he gets his meal for the day. And when I come here, and I see the need.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother and Sister French. Can Brother Anderson and Sister Lynette Anderson come up as well? Brother Archibald Anderson and Sister Lynette.
She's such a troublemaker, and so as a result of Brother Anderson inviting her to the West Philadelphia Church, subsequently and served mainly as an usher and a choir member. Since I've never been a choir member, she was prison.
All right, now a little bit about Brother Archibald, who actually first came to West in 1982 and straightway initiated a search to find a church home. He wanted to have a church home that reminded him of the one that he left in Jamaica. As God would have it, his search ended at 55th and there you go. When he got to West, he was greeted by Sisters Jackie Bush Riley and Ivo Waters. Brother Anderson was asked to serve as the deacon when we moved to this present location. And he has served faithfully ever since. In fact, for the past few years, he would greet us all warmly in the parking lot. Yeah. Unfortunately, on March 5th of last year, while he was driving, he was hit by a U-Haul truck. And the accident has left him severe damage to the nerves in his neck. But he continues to seek your prayers as he continues under the care of his doctors. And his hope is that he can continue to join us each Sabbath as he did prior to his accident.
I'm trying to see who I asked to. Oh, Brother Devon, would you come and say just a few words on his behalf?
Good evening, West Church. I know Brother Anderson a very long time. Coming to this church, I met Brother Andy, and we call him Andy Man. But one thing I know about Andy Man, don't take him things easy. I ask him to do. In no time, you can knock on wood, Andy will be there. He is so dedicated, and he is not a phony. By no means, he's not a phony. And one thing I like with him, him always talk about Betty. Him love him some Betty. Let me tell you something. Him love him some Betty can't done. And when you take a stack, if you're working, and you look on him watch and say, you know what, Betty, I expect me to come home certain time, and him gone. Trust me, man, may I tell you. But Brother Anderson, with all due respect, him serve very well. As a deacon, let me tell you, man, he make sure everything, him run at the back, then him have the money bag, and him just step on a thing like so. You know, him always vigilant, him always doing duties to the best of his ability. I take from Andy, you must always, whatever you do for the Lord, do it with your heart, soul, and might. And that's Brother Andy right there. That's Brother Andy. Whatever he did for the church, this man do it with his heart, soul, mind, and what else, church? Body. He's a good man. Let me tell you something. He's a very good man. Andy, I love you, sir. And one thing I can say, as David said, I was young, and now I'm old. And I never see the righteous being forsaken or seen begging bread. I salute you, Andy. Enough respect.
To speak much, you know, I'll tell you my for you also. You have never seen me and not asked me how is my boys, you know, and you're always pleasant, you're always helpful, and I really appreciate you as a mentor and as a man in this church being a good example. He doesn't. You want to say something? Okay. I got it.
You know, I tell you what, these two people, they were unique as far as I am concerned, because they had a way to make you feel good, but they do it in a way that you wonder if it's really they're trying to make you feel good or they're trying to give you a hard time. You know, but believe me, especially his wife is a trickster. You know?
Brother and Sister Anderson, I ran out of money when I was shopping, so I just picked this up and ran out the store, so hide it. No, but that's why I'm giving it right now to you folks. Thank you for your years of service. Brother Anderson, thank you for all that you've done. I'll pass this over to your wife. Sister Anderson, I don't know what happened between you and Pastor Campbell, but I'm going to find out so I can get all the information. This about to get real up in here now. Talking about the naked truth coming.
All right, so let's give the Andersons a big round of applause. Words because of the time. Oh, and now we'll have a special mime presentation given by
Alrighty. Just so you guys know, this was supposed to be my dad, but I'm going to be him for today. Those of you that do know my dad, he loves to speak, just not publicly. So these are his words, just so you guys are all aware. All righty. The couple that I'm here to talk about are known to you as Brother and Sister Clark, and to me, it's Grandma and Grandpa. They both joined West Philadelphia Seventh-day Adventist Church in the latter part of 1977, and they were baptized on June 10th, 1978. Since then, off to work for the Lord they went. As mentioned before, my grandpa served in the church in various capacities. Just to name a few, he was a deacon. And what I did learn is that, and you guys will see later, I do have some pictures from the very first day that we worshiped, because people were, so I think that's where church benefited from their service. Amongst all of the roles that they played in serving the church, one of the things that I've learned is that the members at that time were very dedicated to have a new church, so therefore they supported financially, emotionally, they did whatever they had to do so that we could have this building that we're in now. And I can say that me, a few decades later, I'm very grateful. Another thing that you guys may not know about Grandpa, so before he came here, he was actually a police officer in Jamaica. So now when he came up here, you'll realize that if you ever go to his home, everything's nice and neat and in order, and Grandma helps with that too. But that's kind of what he was doing beforehand. And now if you ever sit and you have a conversation with Grandpa, he always gives you tidbits of wisdom. So they normally come in the version of a poem. And when I tell you, Grandpa can recite some poems from memory, and you'd be like, I mean, sometimes they're never ending, which is great, but his memory is so sharp. I mean, and they don't do it like that anymore. I mean, we memorize some things, but nothing like that. And so if you ever want to figure out some nice words to whisper to your wife or your husband, hit up Grandpa, because he's got some beautiful poems that he can tell you from his mind. Alrighty, and you know, besides the poems, Grandpa can also, I feel like he's a walking Bible. Like he can recite some scriptures off the top of his head, or he'll drill you like, hey, do you know Psalms 19? And I'm like, no. You know, it's not the same anymore, but he's really good at that. And Grandma, whenever, you know, we were at church and we were hungry, I'm telling you, she would come with this little piece of bread wrapped up in tissue, and it would be the best piece of bread you've ever had in life. And so they've always complimented each other in that way, and I can just tell you that I am really grateful for everything that they've done, and I appreciate all of the founding members, because we wouldn't be where we are today without them. So we did, my dad actually found some pictures from the first day when we worshiped in this church. You might notice some of the people in the pictures, I'm so sorry, but just to, I don't know if they're, can you guys? That's Grandma. He was the president of the Allegheny East Conference, opening the doors. Let's see. I think that's the dirt that Brother French was talking about that he was playing in. I think I found it. And they marched from 55th and Haverford to this church on foot. So, once again, I didn't want to keep you guys long, but I just want to say thank you, Grandma and Grandpa, for everything that you do and continue to do. And we're so grateful for everything that you did to bring us here today.
Sister Clark doesn't usually say much, but she does a lot. One thing she does, and is always willing to do, is make for church occasion. She makes the best rice, stew peas and rice, not stew peas and rice and peas. So she's always willing to do that. Brother Clark is the local poet laureate, and always, like Kanisha says, always sharing poems and words of wisdom. Thank you for your service and for your love. Brother Clark, what I know you're here every Sabbath from early Sabbath school, and you're always preaching about being here on time. What is your, and I know your messages are pretty long, but if you were to give your very shortest word of instruction to the church, what would that be? Your very shortest. What would that be?
I would say that the Bible is the embodiment of truth. And that's the word of God. You cannot deny that. And in order to build character, we should go to the Bible and adopt its principles, because it taught me a whole lot. I know when I was somewhat wayward, I know the Lord found me and he brought me back to him. Long ago, Brother Byfield sang a song, gave a song one Sabbath morning. I think it was. And I stole a little chorus from the song that he sang. And it's like this. It said, "From sinking sand, he lifted me. With tender hands, he lifted me. From shades of night to realms of light, praise God, he lifted me." I'm so glad that the Lord has brought me back to him. And I'm still here. There are so many things to talk about, but time wouldn't allow me. So I'm glad for the privilege and the opportunity to say something. And my family, a large family. Sit.
Will the family please stand? Brother Clark's family, please stand. Wow. All right, and Sister Clark, I know you don't say much, but I'm going to give you the last word.
Excuse me, let me say something. I know, because please don't expect her to say, because she had some tooth extraction. Yes, she doesn't eat much, and she doesn't say much now because she's not really comfortable.
I remember the days when we used to walk. Okay. I'm not. When we used to walk from 55th and Haverford to come in this area to pass our trucks. And you know.
Yeah, so she the woman who will not speak just spoke and said she remembered the days when she used to walk from 55th, when we were worshiping at 55th and Haverford, she used to come here to pass out tracts before the church came here. All right, so brother pastor has an emergency that he has to make a telephone call. But brother and sister Clark, on behalf of the West Philadelphia Church, this is just a small token of our appreciation and our love for you.
God bless you all.
All right. Let's give him a round of applause, please. And some of these men, you know, I think some of these men, I think including Brother French, back in the day, they used to pack. I mean, and so when we were protecting the grounds before it was secure, some of these men used to, on their own license, I think they were legal, but on their own license, pack to protect the church. So that is some of the sacrifice and the service that they gave that is not in the pulpit and in the pews, but beyond.
Sister Corotas, can you kindly come up, please? Elder Gordon is going to do the honors.
All right. Sister Corotas, I have has been in service, and she has done many things. She's been in Sabbath school, but her passion and her service has been Bible work, Bible instruction. And there are many individuals who have been baptized in this church who can attest to her service or training or teaching and or instructions in Bible work. She has not only served as Bible worker of the West Philadelphia Church, she has also served as the Allegheny East Conference Bible worker for so many different crusades that we have had. But not only has she served as Bible worker for this conference, the Allegheny East Conference, but she also has served in Pennsylvania Conference on the different pastors for different evangelistic services. So that is her passion. That's what she has done over the years, and she still does that. One of the things that she does especially is to keep up with those who got Bible studies, those who were visited and never got baptized, or those who were baptized and does not attend. She keeps up with all of them as much as she can. So she has been serving this church very faithfully over the years, doing that work, and it seems as if she will not stop. Bev Gordon will now come and share her experience about her service.
Well, good evening, everyone. I thought about writing down what I was going to say, and then I decided not to. I decided to speak from the heart, because this woman occupies a very large part of my heart. So I think I'll find enough to say from there. See, I've known her all my life. This woman taught me to love the Lord. She taught me to love the Lord, and that is the greatest riches that she could have passed on to me. In addition to that, I remember back in the day when she and my dad would ride their bicycles up and down the hills of Yorton and Linstead, doing Bible work, setting up churches, preaching. So she didn't just start here. She's been a nurse, and she's also a Bible worker from a long time ago. In this church, she came to West Philadelphia Seventh-day Adventist Church in 1983. And since that time, she served as Sabbath school superintendent one time. She has served on the health ministry team and on the family life team, but most of all, she served as a Bible worker. As my husband said, here at West Church and in other churches around. I remember one time she even went to Massachusetts, and she did Bible work there. Eddie, a friend of ours, he's a pastor, and he was doing an evangelistic crusade. And Eddie is Haitian, and the services were in French. And my mother was the Bible worker. She does not speak French. But they had a great baptism. So something must have happened. I guess the same Spirit who was there at Pentecost must have been there with them at that time also. But as I said, I've known her all my life. And I know her as someone who has overcome many challenges in life, challenges that you might not even know about. So for me, I look to her as someone who I give great honor to, because I've seen her overcome so many challenges, and she has passed on to me a resilience that will allow me to go through life successfully. She's given me so much. She gave me life. She gave me the love of God, And she's given me this spirit of resilience. You can't stop this train because this train runs by the power of God. Mama, I love you, and I know you've done a lot for this church, but you've done much more for me. God bless you. He has blessed you with long life, and I pray that he will continue to bless you with even longer life. Your doctor told you you're going to live to 100. I hope so.
That you have done. You have been serving the church for so many years. You have been to so many baptisms. You have gone through evangelistic crusades. You have given Bible study to small and great. What do you think is your most pleasant accomplishment? Yeah. What out of all that you have done, what do you feel most pleased about?
To see souls baptized.
All right, so I'm stunned because she talks a lot and now she gives me a one-word answer. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Yeah, so, all right. So that's another question. All right, but she has done so much and is, like I said, is still doing a lot. How many names do you have on your list that you call within a 2-week period? About how many names do you have on your list?
Well, this is not accurate. I know. But I think I call about 16.
16?
Yeah, it could. 16, 20.
Okay.
Not under.
All right, about 16, 20 people that you call on a regular basis, pretty much on a weekly or bi-weekly basis.
And those people are generally those who have not been attending church, those who were baptized. Most of them are those who have left the church completely. I will call them to encourage them and find out what they're doing.
All right, so at her age, at 86, well, you said 85 and Bev said it's 86. But, oh, 86 in October? Okay, all right, at 86, you're still doing the work and you're still making your contribution to the nurturing of saints. On behalf of, Pastor's not back yet, so on behalf of the West Philadelphia Church, in thanking you for your service and your dedication to us, we give you this small token of our appreciation.
Life at West as Sister Yule got busy preparing meals for the soup kitchen and faithfully did so for 10 years. And Brother Yule drove to Philabundance to pick up produce in addition to serving as the driver of the Pathfinder's van. Together they continue to care for their special needs daughter, Gail. Amen. Please give them a hand.
Good evening, church. Good evening, Pastor Campbell. No, I didn't make the cut. I don't know why. I'm old enough because I see people younger than me. And then, should I go any further? it gets, you know, a little trouble putting it up. He put it up and take it down quite a few times. The shelf fell and nearly broke my leg. And when it came the second time, it was up, and it's still up, 21 years, and it's still up. Sister Yule, and we started the soup kitchen here, and I'm telling you that if you want a friend, you want a buddy, you don't want no enemy. You know, keep Sister Yule nice and friendly. She is very kind, very, very, very kind. And she still would bring all these nice rich chocolates. And if you have Sister Yule for a friend and a family member, you have Brother Yule, yes, the pathfinder, going look at where we go. Brother Yule, God sent combination. So I leave up that. You know, for you. Mine. To thank you for all what we did. Nobody honor me. What we did from 55th and have a phone. Now, Pastor Campbell sit down there laughing. I went to Pastor Campbell for some money once. And he said no. Since they're honoring me, I could do what I want. Listen. He said no. There ain't no money. The church had no money. You all run down the money. And then I said, listen, Pastor, I don't take no finance. We need some money. So me and Sharon and Donald and Sister Yule, Brother Yule, every cent.
Brother Yule said I shouldn't ask him too much question. But Brother Yule doesn't usually talk much in public, but the loudest you'll hear of him is when he laughs. He has a big laugh. And for years, he was doing a lot of what we are doing with a whole team now. He was our videographer. And he was consistent. Any time there was an event, he used to be there videotaping. I don't think those VHS work anymore, any place. But I know he has a whole room full of them. And Sister Yule is the most gentle person. One of the most gentle persons that I know. She's always soft-spoken. She has never roughed me up like other people do. And that's why some people get the cut. So Sister Yule, what of all the things that you do so consistently and all the time, what do you enjoy most? What is it that you enjoy most?
I enjoy doing community work, feeding the homeless and things like that. I love doing things like that in the soup kitchen and caring for people in general. So that's just what my passion is.
And, well, you see, Brother, you'll have a lot to talk now. Let me hear what you say, brother.
No, I told her she's not nervous. Well, one thing I want to say, before joining the Adventist church, when we were engaged, my wife said, I'm not marrying you until I join Adventist church. So that's the reason why I joined Adventist church. I'm a member today.
All right. And he's here. A lot of women did that, but this one, and he's here, and he's happy. He's very happy. Praise the Lord for that. Her commitment and his acceptance of the terms that was handed to him. We appreciate and love you so much. Thank you for your service on behalf of the church and on behalf of every single one of us that you have served and that you have ministered to. We give you just a small token of our appreciation for your years of service. This is not anything. And I know that your service is not over yet. May God continue to bless you. All right, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. And now we have special music by TC.
Now I know why. And these are good people. I want my life to be just like the least of you. I just want to sing you a song, and I hope you can appreciate. Yes. Amazing grace shall always be my song of praise. For it was grace that bought my liberty. I do not know just how He came to love me so. He looked beyond all my faults and saw my needs. Yes, I shall forever lift my eyes to Calvary to view the cross, how my Jesus died for me. How marvelous the grace that saw my fallen soul. He looked beyond all of my faults and saw my need. Yes, amazing grace shall always be my song of praise. For it was grace that bought my liberty. I do not know just how He came to love me so. He looked beyond all my faults and saw my needs. I shall forever lift my eyes to Calvary to prove the cross, how my Jesus, He died for me. Yeah. force, and He's all my needs. Yes, He's all my needs.
Brother Cecil and Evadne Shaw. Cecil and Evadne Shaw called Philadelphia home in 1972 after leaving New York City, where they attended Grace Tabernacle Seventh-day Adventist Church. 15 years later, they visited West Church at the cause. Once Shaw became the resident photographer. With camera always in hand, school teacher. And a good fit.
High school together from Jamaica, from Kingsway High School, and Vincent was passed. And then when I finally made the connection between you and Vincent, I was kind of shocked, because the way Vincent used to talk about you, about his big brother and all that kind of stuff, I thought you was this tall. We share short jokes, so that's fine. But I thought you were much taller and much bigger. But I've grown to know you. You thought so too. But I've grown to know and love you and appreciate you as even part of my family. In your years of taking photographs here at West Church, I know that you have done some big things outside of the church. But in your years of taking photographs here at the church, what is your most memorable shot? I know photographers are pleased about how the shot came out or who they took. What is your most memorable shot?
Well, I like to say my most memorable shot to me. The way I would look at it is that my wife brought me back into the church. The devil was so angry that he created another situation, because he thought, well, I got one out and two came back in. I didn't want that. So he created another situation which we overcame. But and this quotation that I referred to earlier, that God said, that Christ said he would rather not be in heaven than to be there without us. And I think he was referring to me personally. And ever since that time, I'm being back, and I thank God for his love and his caring. Church, God loves us very much. Amen. And I'm so grateful to him for him. And just thank God for that he's the God he is. Thank you so much.
And before I ask Sister Evadne her one question, I'll ask Dr. Carol Allen to come and speak on behalf of both of them.
Good afternoon, everyone. As opposed to most of the speakers that came up, I met the Shaws not at West Church, but at Grace Tabernacle Church in Norristown. And we have been friends for deacon in the. Our daughters are born in the same year. One was born in February, one was born in December. So we've been walking this way a long time. For Evadne and Cecil, there's something that they both share. They're very meticulous about what they do. Brother Shaw, in how he dresses, also Sister Shaw, but Brother Shaw, you have never seen him with a scuffed shoe, ever. His tie, his suit, he always look well put together. Amen. Sister Shaw is meticulous about her dress, but about food, she's more meticulous. When she was serving in hospitality, how the food is presented is very important to her. And she's always making sure that the food is attractive and that you would really want to partake of it. As we talk about the different contributions that have been made by this couple, we have to always remember that sometimes we find what we are doing fits us to a T. And I think hospitality fitted Sister Shaw to a T. As we continue being friends, and our children being friends, we ask that the Lord will be merciful and gracious to them as they continue to serve Him in whatever capacity they're able to. Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
And Sister Shaw, you have done so much. You have been tireless in health and temperance. You have been tireless in the kitchen, in all the things that you try to get done. You have quarreled a lot, and you have got a lot accomplished. And now you've gotten because I used to go to your house and I used to get the best steamed vegetables. They were crisp and green and nice. I remember those days. The salmon was excellent. It has not happened in a long, long time. And I'm thinking, you're still, can you promise this church that you will continue to do?
You have got to be kidding me. Looks are deceiving, you know that, right? Okay, all right. I can still do things. However, this period that I was out for a reason, many of reasons, and you know some of them. My husband wasn't well there for a while. I'm not that well myself, but I still can contribute. One of my most memorable times is with your wife when she was health and temperance leader. I think Beverly and I had some very good times leading out in the health and temperance department. I said to her the other day, you know, there were Sabbaths upon Sabbaths when we actually, they was there to lock it for us, but we were the last ones here to do it. And that's for many, many years that we have done that. And then I became a health and temperance leader. And one of my best memories was the health fair that we had here. And I remember Gwen Foster came down and said that this is one of the best health fairs for that because their hand in it was great. And also the late, we buried the other day, Valerie Roach. Valerie Roach had helped me a lot in that. She had gotten the van for me for the mammogram for the ladies. And Dr. Allen was instrumental in getting the doctors here to have the people get their checkups for free. And I remember the men of this church, some of them, still very angry with me because they don't go to the doctor, and I push them to go that Sabbath. And some of them are very, very happy that they went because they found out that something was going on with them that they need to attend to. So those memories for me are great, and it's something that I would like to do again, God's willing. But if you all just pray for me so my husband gets well and I'm healthy enough, I can still contribute to these things.
Amen. Amen. All right. I think Pastor is back. So we appreciate what you have done. We love you. And I'm not trying to get you to be health and temperance leader again, but, you know, at least cook a meal for a friend, you know.
Brother and Sister Shaw, first, I have never known two more gracious people, kind in comments, kind in deeds, kind in your commitment to the church. Brother Shaw, you are an exemplar of sartorial excellence. Sister Shaw, you know how to properly situate yourself under the most splendid hats. We share these gifts with you from a grateful and thankful church, and we look forward to spending more days with you. And hopefully, you will enjoy spending those days with us. Amen. And I'll be coming to get those vegetables too.
Brother Ulysses and Vernice Mighty, can you come up, please? Vernice came to the U.S. in 1973 and Ulysses in 1976. He was baptized after attending a revival that Elder Bradford conducted here at West. In 1979, Brother Mighty became a deacon. He was also an instrumental member of the treasury for several years. Sister Mighty served as Sabbath school secretary for a number of years and was also health and temperance leader back in the day. She also contributed to lending a helping hand in the soup kitchen. One vivid memory that Sister Mighty recalls is that Pastor Braxton asked members to mortgage their homes to get money to fund the church building project. Although she didn't agree with it, nevertheless, she supported the project. And here we are today because of their contributions and so many others who were there back in that time. The Mighties.
Now we ask Elith. Okay.
Good evening, church. Good evening. My sister didn't want to do this, so she gave me the task. The second last to last of 6, most beautiful one. My parents, Papa and Mama. My parents have been married for 58 years. Praise God. And I'm following in their footsteps. What can I say about my parents? My father he was a deacon for several years. I can remember many mornings, Brother Shaw and Papa used to come to open the church. I remember sometimes we'd sit in the kitchen and somebody called to get the church open, and I would like, he's not here. Because, he was tired. But if I said he was home, he would just get up and go. I remember many mornings my mom would be late for church because Brother Sean and Papa, they call him Mus and Jeff, will be here opening up the church. They serviced the church. They did a lot for the church. I am so proud of my parents. Because of my parents, that's why I'm in the church today. My dad took ill, and my mom took such good care of him. I never seen a person in my life take care of one person so much, and that's what you call love. And my father can be so miserable at times. And I have to tell him, Papa, just leave Mama alone, okay? And just listen. But my dad is because of her, that's why he's here today. My dad is 92 years old. And my brother is here, Junior, Stan. My sister, everybody know Maxine. My other brother and my sister that lives in Florida, they're watching as we're speaking. And my older sister, which is Jennifer, she died a couple years ago. Papa, Mama, I love you. And Junior, Maxine, Howie, and Marie, we all love you. Your grandchildren, you have 14 grandchildren and several great-grands. God bless you, keep you, and may his face shine upon you and give you peace. We love you.
Sister Mighty, from time to time you pull me aside and you rant and you rave about something that you're concerned about in the church. I'm just asking you to share briefly one of those things that you have shared that you're concerned about. I know you've talked about, and I said briefly, I'll hold the mic, all right? But I just want you to hear some things that concerns this woman about her church congregation.
Good evening, everyone. I am concerned about the segregation here. And when I say segregation, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist since I was 13 years old. And young, old, middle-aged, babies, everybody, we celebrate together, Sabbath school, AY, whatever. What I find in this choir, what I found in this church is that there's a segregation among age group. And I don't think it should be like that, because this is church, this is God's church, and we should be all together. And one group, especially with the choir, I'm really concerned about that, because when the church choir sing, there's nobody there. When the other groups sing, the choir love can't hold. And I don't think it's right, and I'm very, very concerned about that. Hopefully, as time goes on, there will be a change, and we all can come together and sing and glorify God, because we all go into the same heaven.
So, Brother Mighty, you have done, like Elite says, you and Brother Shaw have been here in the early hours, in the late hours, on Mondays or Tuesday when you used to do that special run. Won't even mention what it is, but for years you and Brother Shaw have done that run, acting like James Bond, Secret Service agents. But now you're retired, sir. You can't do a lot of because of your age and all that kind of stuff. What did you enjoy most? I know you did a lot of stuff. What did you enjoy most? And Brother Mighty talks a lot, so I'm going to ask you to be brief also, Brother Mighty.
You see, I don't have the strength and health to do what I want to do, because Brother Shaw and myself have done many good work at this church. I can remember the days before we have a contractor to cut the grass. Brother Shaw would come here. We have 2 cutters. Brother Shaw would go that side and I go this side. We come here about 6 in the morning. And by 12 o'clock, all the grass cut and scrape up. Those days have gone.
Yeah, well, You have done your part. You have done your part, and there's no way to ask you to do any more. We appreciate and love you for your service and your commitment over the years, and your friendship, to many of us.
I'd like to just make a comment. During the time I was here, I consider Brother Mighty the church police. And in a positive way, he would always say to me what he thinks is wrong. And in just about every case, he was right. The only problem is I couldn't handle it the way he would like me to handle it because I'd get into trouble. But he had, for the time I was here, had the church at heart. And I really appreciated you for that.
When I was the pastor of the Germantown Seventh-day Adventist Church back in 1990, we would hear about this deacon over in West Philadelphia. West Philadelphia had its own superhero. I mean, after all, when you have a name like Ulysses Mighty. So when I met him, I kept looking to see where his cape was, you know. But he is a mighty man of God. And, you know, as quiet as she may appear to be, Sister Mighty can get it said in her own unique way. Her love and her support and her commitment to, is that you back there, Brother Mighty? Oh. They're starting to swing machetes. Here, let me give you this and let me get going. God bless you both.
Sister Peggy Harris. Sister Harris joined West Church in 1966 when it was located at. Prior to that, she attended Ebenezer in South Philly. She was thrilled to find a church that was closer to her home. She has served as literature evangelist, Sabbath school secretary, assistant Sabbath school superintendent, education secretary, children's ministry leader, and she enjoyed planning vacation Bible school. She was also an AYS sponsor. She opened her home for Bible studies when the church had Operation Fireside, and she was a bus driver for the Larchwood School. Sister Harris and her husband, Elder Harris, shared in Pastor Braxton's vision that a larger congregation would mean a larger presence and spiritual influence in this community. They wholeheartedly supported the church building fund, and when the vision came to fruition, she was one of the first members who attended the opening ceremony. Sister Peggy Harris.
I'd like to say that I'm very thankful to my mother and also to my father for their part in me being a member of the West Philadelphia Seventh-day Adventist Church or finding out about the Adventist message. But one of the things that I learned from my parents was service. They believed in service, and they believed that service translated in doing things that had meaning in God's kingdom. And it didn't matter if your job was big or if your job was small. You had to do that job, and you did it for the Lord and not for accolades and not for prestige, but you did it for the Lord. And I am hoping that my family, that we can continue being of service in God's house. And my mother always instilled in us prayer and thanksgiving. And even now, my mother is up at like 6 in the morning praying, not just for our family, but she prays for so many members of this church. And you probably don't even realize that she's praying for you, but she prays every morning at 6 o'clock. And sometimes I wonder if she's asleep because she's on her knees for like 2 hours. But my mother is, in her own right, a prayer warrior.
I just wanted to say, you know, this lady right here, wow. That's all I mean, that's the words I can just say is wow. You know, you heard my sister just say about how she be up praying. You know, I remember my mother sending me and my sister to Ebenezer. You know, we ride the bus to go to Ebenezer all the way to South Philly from West Philly. And then we started coming to West Church, like in around 66, 65, 66, when we started coming there. But me, her oldest boy, you know, I went out and did my own thing. But my sister said how my mother prays. You know, I thank God for giving me a praying mother. You know, thank you, Mom. You know, because as many times I know she was worried about me, where I was at, if I was dead, you know. She prayed for me from the time I was little to right now. She prayed when I was in Vietnam, she prayed for me. But she mostly prayed when I was in these streets, you know. And, you know, I just wish my father could be sitting right beside my mother right now. You know, that is one wish I have. But my father's sitting beside his father. You know, to me, my father's sitting beside his father in heaven right now. And I just want to thank you, Mom. Thank you for all the prayers you put upon me, that you blessed me with. You know, you let me know that this is where I belong. You know, this is where I belong. And this is where I plan on staying. You know, I don't plan on leaving. Trust and believe that. I don't plan on leaving. You know, thank you again, Mom.
Sister Harris, you're usually the quiet one. You serve well, but you don't usually. For years, you have been on the board based on your various offices in the church, and for the most part, you didn't really say much, but you have led and served so effectively, and sometimes you get. Because your husband was Brother Harris was such a big column in this church. Sometimes you get overlooked, but this is your moment to say, you know, we're saying thanks to you. Is there anything that you'd like to say at this point to the church?
Not really. But I just love my church family. And ever since I've been here, ever since I was coming, well, I've always been welcome. I mean, some people say this and say that, but I had no problem with anybody. And I have been blessed to see my children coming to give their lives to the Lord. Today I'm praying for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren because I want to see them saved in the kingdom. And I want them to know that I am praying for them every day, just like my daughter said I do. I pray every day. And I want them to know that I'm praying for them, and I'm looking for them soon, very soon, to give their lives to the Lord.
Special delivery for Ms. Harris. for being a woman of grace and grandeur and a living testimony to the fact that Brother Ransom Harris had good eyes. She is a stunningly attractive woman. Would you say amen? Amen. We want to thank you so much for the bright example that you have shown not only to your children, but to all of us here. And Elliot, we know that you will do all that you can to carry the legacy of your dad. God bless you, Stars.
At this time, we'll have a mime presentation followed by the offering, and then we'll have our last set of honorees.
And I've had pain. My heart has been broken, and my life has been strained. But in spite of everything I've been through, I still gotta say thank you. I've been up and I've been down, had my turn. thank you. Lord, I thank you for every little bitty thing you've done in my life. I say thank you. Oh, just want to thank you. How much I shall say thank you. Oh, thank you. Hey, I thank you. Just want to say thank you.
Okay, thank you, Meredith. We will quickly pick up the offering while we ask our next celebrant to be prepared to come up.
I have never had an offering taken without some music of some sort. It's like eating cornflakes without the milk. No, that ain't gonna happen. Let's see if we can strike something up from the old days. We are soldiers in the army. We got to fight, although we have to die. We got to hold up the bloodstained banner. We got to hold it up until we... One more time. We are soldiers in the army. We have to fight, although we have to die. We have to hold up the bloodstained banner. We have to hold it up until we die. From there, just get started, okay? All right, come back next week and we'll continue with our rehearsal. Thank you very much. Just while I'm before you, I disappeared a few moments ago because word had reached me that one of my young people from one of my previous churches had just gotten shot. And so we were trying to figure out where he is. I found out where he is. He's in surgery right now. And I told him that as soon as we took care of the business at hand, I'd catch up with him. This young man's name is Nehemiah Patterson. Some of you might know him. Some of you may know Nehemiah, yeah. My understanding is he's coming through okay as of now, but I ask that you would pray for him and his family, that the Lord would bring him all the way through. So if you saw me looking a little out of sorts, it's been on my mind. Amen.
Let us bow our heads as we pray for the offering. Father in heaven, we thank you for your blessings towards us, and in return we have given back to you. We pray that you'll help in its use and its growth and its spreading to enhance your kingdom, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Sidney and Mary Shaw. Our brother Shaw. Mary Shaw, a native of Philadelphia, met and married Sidney Shaw. And Brother Shaw, I believe you were born in Jamaica, yes? Yes. They came to West Church under the leadership of Pastor Campbell. After having no prior church affiliation. Once they got here, they got busy. Brother Shaw served as head deacon for about 10 years. But what he really, really liked to do was assist in the treasury. And he continues to do that even now. And he has actually held that office in the treasury for about 20 years under several pastors, including Pastor Campbell, Harold Kibble, Peter Campbell, and Carl Hines. To this day, Brother Shaw continues to serve in the treasury. For her part, Sister Shaw held down the position of deaconess as well as usher. Asked what they were most proud of, they state their son and grandson, Malcolm McLean and Malcolm Jr., joining West after they were invited to attend a tent meeting. Brother Shaw.
Good evening, church. Good evening. So when I got the call to participate in today's celebration, and I was asked to share some thoughts about Brother Shaw and Sister Mary Shaw, I got so excited I actually forgot to call back and accept the invitation. And to be honest, I would have been heartbroken if this opportunity missed me, Brother Shaw. Sasha and I, interestingly, got to know Sister Shaw before we got to know you, Brother Shaw. As a little baby, Allie would come with Sasha to Soup Kitchen on Wednesdays, where we first met your wife, Sister Shaw. Sister Shaw loved Allie and showered her with a lot of kindness. She was always positive, had a can-do attitude, very kind and gracious to those who visited the Soup Kitchen, never negative. Sasha remembers her smiling almost all the time and having a very pretty laugh. Along with Sister Ferguson, Sister Yule, Sister Mighty, and the many others who served in the Soup Kitchen at that time, they made our family feel welcome to West. So Brother Shaw, on our behalf, although Sister Shaw is here, please give her our regards and let her know that we love her so much. I first really got to know Brother Shaw when I joined the Treasury sometime between 2012 and 2013. Janet and I are arguing about which year it was, and I'm not sure. The dictionary describes a gentleman as chivalrous, courteous, and an honorable man. Brother Shaw is all that and so much more. Brother Shaw is a Christ-like gentleman. I've had the opportunity and on occasion the misfortune of meeting men of high esteem in the business world. But there are only a handful of men that have left lifelong impressions and who I've tried to emulate the best in them. Two of them are my fathers, my biological father and Sasha's dad. Interestingly, one is a priest who taught me in second form at the high school I went to in Jamaica. And then there is Brother Sidney Shaw. It's not just that Brother Shaw still plays golf a few times a week, cuts his own lawn, continues to do that secret thing which we won't talk about, along with his sparring partner who up to a year ago was also doing that secret thing, or was an exemplary deacon in his young days, in his younger days, and a first deacon. It's that Brother Shaw has never uttered an unkind word in my hearing about anyone. It's that he faithfully discharges his duty each Sabbath in the treasury with a smile and a kind, gentle spirit. It's that Brother Shaw gives me hope that I can be better. Here's a small sample of my learnings from Brother Shaw. Be diligent and faithful. One of the things we do in the treasury is that we balance. And, you know, I've been in the treasury a long time, so I've had many occasions to balance Brother Shaw. And I will tell you, every now and then we don't balance, but somewhere between around 80%, Brother Shaw is right and I'm wrong. Brother Shaw has taught me to be courteous and to be kind, and that your positive attitude does impact those around you, and you can change the tone of a room with your attitude. Brother Shaw's taught me to keep active as long as there is breath. Brother Shaw also taught me, he told me once that he never spanked his children, so he's taught me that you can successfully raise children without spankings. And finally, As long as there is strength, never neglect assembling with the brethren. Brother Shaw is here every Sabbath and diligently in the treasury every Sabbath. Brother and Sister Sidney Shaw, on behalf of the treasury team and the West Church family, we thank you for your service. But more so, we thank you for reminding us that great peace hath they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Yeah. Brother Shaw, from the treasury and from our church, we love you. And as I age, I pray to God that he gives me a little bit of the secret that you have in the way you've aged.
Brother Shaw, you're a man of very few words. You're a doer and not a talker. Is there anything that you want to say to the church? You're such a committed and faithful person. Is there anything you want to say to us?
I want to thank the church. I want to thank the church and my brothers and sisters for this occasion. I was surprised, when I was told that I was supposed to be, yeah. But I thank and my desire is to continue to serve God and to do the things that I'm doing. Love one another, and I'm looking forward to the day when we shall leave this. I'm looking forward to the day when God will come and save us from this sinful and wicked world. Yeah. I thank you all again for listening to me, and I'm not good speakers, but I speak from whatever I say and do. I do it from my heart. I want to thank you, and thank you all. In Jesus' name I pray.
Let me say this of Brother Shaw, because as he said, he came while I was here. You know that I know your brother. And his brother was a schoolmate of mine. And I'll say this, that this quietness is a sure thing. He's just like his brother with respect to that. Say very little, but dependable. And believe me, I appreciated how you worked here quietly, but consistently and dependable. God bless you.
Brother Shaw, there are two things on behalf of the church before we present you with this token. My understanding is that this token was going to a man who was in his 90s. I'm going to need to see some ID. That's right. The second thing, Brother Shaw, is that the church board will be meeting to find out more about that secret thing that we heard so much about. Having said those things, you are a man of good spirit. You have a dutiful and industrious perspective on life, and your service to this church is unequaled and unparalleled. And on behalf of a grateful church, we present this token to you in thanks. God bless you, Brother Shaw.
Elizabeth McCullers.
Keep us 50.
Sister Elizabeth McCullers came to West from Calvary Baptist. Upon arriving, she was quickly taken under the wings of Essie and Robert Baynard and was later baptized by Pastor Braxton in 1978. She served in several ministries, including as a deaconess, usher, and was a community service leader where she helped to serve meals to members of the community. She also assisted in the cupboard ministry, which was a ministry that distributed additional foodstuff for takeout. When asked what she thought about this service to honor her for her years of service, she said that she is ecstatic that her grandson, attorney Sean McCullers, and his family are here to actually celebrate with her. Our congregation is much richer that she is able to be here with us on most Sabbath. Elizabeth McCullers.
Most of those who spoke before, you recognize, but I just want to come before. This is Sean, our son.
Hey, good evening. Good evening, everybody. How's everyone? I don't know how I selected this special position to speak in public. I guess they figured because I speak in court, it would be okay. But for my grandmother, anything. And she is the only one in our family that could get everybody together at a moment's notice. Because she has taught and ingrained in us service to our community. I think it's part of the harshness in me as a civil rights attorney dealing with the issues that I deal with. The reason that I do it is because I remember when we were in West Church. I remember 55th and Haverford. You know, Richard, Myron, Miss Marie back there. You know, I look around the church, the Davidsons, everybody, Mike. You know, what we see are consistent themes, right? Sacrifice, service, right? To a community, to those that society considers less than, right? Which goes back to the Bible teaching of doing unto the least of these, right? And in our lives, I think that what we truly see looking around this room is that those lessons were well taught, right? The Lord say those lessons were well taught. Our career paths, what we've chosen to do, how we live our lives, whether we've left the church, whether we've come back to the church after some time. West Church always feels like home, right? It doesn't matter how long we've been going. Whenever we come into this building, because we were here when there was no building, right? Darlington, right up the street, right up 46th Street. We were here. We were in this community when we didn't want to be as youth passing out tracts, right? I remember being here with Grams when the soup kitchen was here. All the trailers were here. And they were serving food and giving out clothing, right? So when we look at our society today and we see all the things that are going on in society, all the horribleness of the world, and we think back to those Christian values, where did they come from? Where do the ideals of service come from? They came from all of you. And God has blessed us to have you for as long as we've had you, into your 90s, into your late 80s. And it's a beautiful thing. But sitting here tonight, I've been reminded of so much of that goodness that was poured into us. My father wasn't a part of this church, but I witnessed all of the fathers in this church parent, right? Elder French getting on us when we out in the hallway. Brother Mighty getting on us when we standing out back talking. We supposed to be in church, right? I miss Mr. Elder Harris. That was my buddy. Always pulled me aside, mess with me. You know, Honore is here. Dore, I saw her here as well. I mean, this is the beautiful tapestry of West Church, right? No matter how far my life has taken me, no matter how far we've all gone and come back, every time we come here, it's home, right? My grandmother never met a stranger, right? Because her philosophy for us has always been to treat people like family until they give you a reason not to, right? I was just talking to Donna out in the hallway. You know, it's a powerful thing to have somebody call and say, hey, something needs to be checked on. And you can pick up your phone and call somebody that you've known 40 years and be like, yo, I need you to go check on such and such for me. If none of the family could get there, there are plenty of people that we could call to go check on Grams, right? That's a powerful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and not everybody has it. In my life's work, I've seen the darkest of dark, as my aunt, my uncle see here in the city every day working as police officers. When I was at Border Patrol, I see the worst that people could be, but I've also seen the best. And the ability to survive in that environment and to still be a good person and put out good and know that it's coming back to you and not doing it for the sacrifice and expecting something to come back, but doing it because that's what God instilled in you, to just be a decent person. How much greater would the world be today if we were just all decent people, right? And the decency and the dignity and the service and the sacrifice that you all have, we've watched you rend into this community and into each family member is a beautiful thing. It's powerful. It's powerful. And I'm just privileged to be here. Grams, I love you. You know you're my girl. So whatever you want, always. But when she called me, I knew this was a big deal. She called me and said, Shawnee, she was like, they're having something at the church. I was like, okay. I know I got to buy a plane ticket. When is it? So I'm like, all right, what's going on? She was like, oh, they're having a Founders Award or something. I don't know, but it's going to be on the 15th. I said, all right, Grams, I'll call you back. Got off the phone, called my wife, was like, look, I need you to come to the house because we need to check the schedule because we were to be out of town or what have you. I had my ticket booked in 15 minutes. She was taking too long. So I booked my ticket. They had another engagement to be at, but would have loved to have been here. They have their own special relationship with my family. I'm truly blessed in that right. But what I want you all to know is that your sacrifice hasn't gone in vain, right? The lives that we're able to lead, we can only be who we are because of who you are, because of what you've sown into us. And it's not just your immediate family that you touched. You touched all of us in a variety of different ways, whether you were talking to us or whether we were just watching, right? Because we all know as adults that life is really about what you do when nobody's watching, right? Do you have integrity? Are you a kind person? Are you a decent person? Are you an honest person? Those questions can only be answered in instances where people can't see what you're going to do. And whether you still continue to do good things and help folks when you can, and sometimes helping folks means saying no. But that's also, I had a conversation this afternoon with Deacon Clark where we were standing out here and we were talking, he was talking to me about wisdom and knowledge and the discernment between the two, right? And the beauty of that is that the information that he imparted in me was information that we found by doing, right? I didn't know that you were in law enforcement before. I spent quite a bit of time in law enforcement. I'm around law enforcement people all the time. But I'm also a black man living in America. And I look like this. If I'm not in a suit and I'm not in court standing in front of the table talking to the judge, people still think I'm a defendant, all right? They just might think I was smart enough to come dressed in a suit that day, all right? The reality is the world is an ugly place. It can be a very ugly place. But what you do and your character always wins over in the end, right? People can say a lot of things. I thought you were this. I thought you were that until I witnessed you do that, right? Those things are that's what this is about. The gratefulness and the thankfulness that you all have instilled in us and allowed us to then instill in our children common decency, integrity, a love for the Lord, some faith. Those are the things, those are the tangible benefits of just being decent people. So for that, we thank you, Grams. You know we love you. Whatever you need, we're here. Thank you.
Sister McCall, I need to say something because I've known you for a good while. And one of the things I'm just learning that she was relatively new in Adventism when I met her. And the desire she had for her children to get Christian education at a tremendous sacrifice. Yeah. I want to know you to know that I appreciate you more now than I knew then. And God bless you.
I remember you in front of the mic week after week pleading for those who were less fortunate. I remember you begging us, you threatened us, you made us feel bad. You told us that, you know, you could be one paycheck from being homeless too. That's right. Yeah, I know you still believe that, and I've always remembered that. And so, what do you want to say? You have spent so much time on the mic.
You know, I don't like speaking, but I just have to say this. I really, from my heart, love the people of this church. You guys don't know how special you are. When I first came here and met the people, whatever you needed, they completely supported you. So we need to get back that. Whatever was lost, we need to get it back because, but I love you guys and you look so wonderful. And that's it.
Okay. Sean, you had said whatever Grandma wants you. She says she wants a Bentley for her pastor. Seeing that Sister McCullers and I both are from the Baptist Church, Calvary Baptist, Miller Memorial Baptist, I will present this gift to you because so many people here, they have their own orientation. Some people can speak patois, some Creole. I will present this to you in Baptist. We're glad that you're here. Yeah, and hey, glory. Let the church say amen.
All right, and now we wrap up with Pastor S.G. Campbell. You know, he doesn't like to be told what to do, but we're asking you to sit on this chair. Pastor, you know.
Your title of senior pastor ended at sunset. Sit in the chair.
Now, like he mentioned, he changed our church's direction. Pastor Campbell did. He changed from what in good effort was not to what in good effort we became, and put us on a track that, you know, the elder schedule that you created over how many years ago, I still use that schedule. There are some things that you left, finance committee, there are certain things that you left in place that we still, whenever we're contemplating certain things, we said, what did Pastor Campbell do? It's still here. The visions that you had is still here. So, and even on a personal level, as a first elder, I call you when I want honesty, when I don't want somebody to give me the expected answer or the answer that you as a pastor should give. I call you when I want honesty, and I always get it. On a personal level, you have been a mentor. Bev talks about the days when you were pastor, And she mentions all, that when we were coming out of elders meeting, we were like the Secret Service, all of us on the same page. And if you mess with one, you mess with all, because we were on one team, we were unified, and all of that, you contributed. Sherwin is going to.
So, let me just say this, that it's a privilege for me to be here back home at West Philadelphia Church. When my mother and my father were here, my mother was a lawyer and my father was a pastor. And I decided to take the path of being a lawyer. I followed my mother's footsteps.
Wise man.
Well, I don't know, Pastor. You see, the thing about it is, after I got into the workforce, and I even said this to my father, I said, you know what? I think I made a mistake. I think my true calling was to get into the ministry and become a pastor. You see, the reality of it is that pastors, Pastor Talafaro, Pastor Campbell, they receive a full-time salary. Listen, let me talk, okay? We listened to you this morning, let me talk, okay? That's what happens when they get to a certain age. You can't control them. They just blurt out whenever they want to. But anyways, they receive a full-time salary, they get benefits, retirement benefits, and the truth of the matter is they only have to show up to work one day a week. For the occasional board meeting every other Sunday where they come and they trouble the church members in the Wednesday night prayer meeting, this is a great gig, okay? But the truth of the matter is this, that it wasn't a one-day-a-week job for my father. I saw him get up every morning like he had to punch a clock to be here. And he spent long hours here. And he did it because he was serving God, because he loved God. He loves them. This is like a memorial service here. Take a deep breath there, okay? You're still alive, buddy. You're still with us, okay? All right. But he loves Jesus. And the truth of the matter is, and so this morning he made a statement, and I'm going to have to refute the statement that he made, that he would never come back to the West Philadelphia Church. He's only been here one time area during retirement. Know that
by which I stand, Christ alone.
Thanks for this, Elder. I know how much time it took, and all of those who worked with him on the committee. I want to thank all of the members of this church for being a part of a family that honors those who have gone on before. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16 says, "Stand in the way and ask, where are the old paths, the ancient ways, and walk therein." We have a lot to learn from those who have traveled this journey. We want to thank all of our honorees for all that you've done and all that you are continuing to do. It is now Monday, and I think we should prepare to go home. Oh, and please be productive.